All right, welcome everybody. This is a co-stream that we do every Wednesday with our good buddies. You got Nick Gibbs of Investing Against the Grain. You got Brian White of Future Aza. So what we want to talk about today is what happened this week. Several things happened this week that are we now at the point where Tesla has reached game, set, and match? They've now reached the point where things have come into place to show that they're basically headed in that direction, right? So the first thing is Robotaxi. That's going to happen. That event's going to happen on 10/10. They've announced it's going to be at the Warner Brothers studio. This has gotten people start to get excited about why they chose that location, what they're going to be able to show off. It's a city, it's a mini city. They're probably going to now show off, actual demo of Robotaxi. You've got actual Smart Summon being released. I think 1,000 people have it at this point, and the demos that we're watching, we'll play a few videos of that, is very, very impressive. This car is moving quite fast in the parking lot, but it's truly driverless. You can actually see a car without a person in it driving by itself. Despite it being a parking lot, it's still able to maneuver by itself, and I think that could be the moment that people realize that the Robotaxi is coming. And then finally, the announcements about supercompute, not only a Giga Texas, which Tesla is calling and Elon's calling the Cortex, but also just now they talked about xAI's Colossus, the largest supercompute in the world. This events, all these things and more happened this week. So let's talk about that. Which topic do you want to pick on first? Who wants to get started here first, Brian or Nick?
I'll start with the 10/10 event at Warner Brothers. I had some thoughts on why that was the best location, why it was an ideal location. One of them is it does have a little city that you can tool around in. It is a secured location. So security, when you're someone as high profile as Elon Musk, you're going to have security issues. You've seen his security detail, but having a good perimeter is key, and movie studios have been keeping people out for 100 years. They know the process. It's very easy to add another layer. And then, we'll get to see it driving. And if you look at it from the perspective of people taking pictures of demos, you're going to see pictures of it in Europe, in Chinatown, in a small urban area, in a small suburban area. The studio has one of everything except the Old West, and they're going to be showing it off in all the. If you're able to go around and take pictures of the Robotaxi in those settings, you're going to have you're going to have infinite B-roll pictures to use for the next year while we wait for it to think about coming out. What do you think, Nick?
Sorry, struggling to unmute there. What do I think? Yeah. So I have lots of thoughts on this Robotaxi event on 10/10. My main thing though is I think that Herbert, you and I might have talked about this in the past, but there's a certain way that Tesla does their demos, their events, their presentations. And I like them because they pander towards, my engineering brain. But I'll be the first to admit that they don't have the cachet of a Steve Jobs or Apple event or whatnot. Now, mind you, I'm not a big fan of the way Apple does their things now. It seems just a little too cheesy these days. Running from one room to the other, kind of, I don't know, it's a little corny for me. But I thought the way Steve Jobs did things, there's some showmanship, and I thought it was good. And when Elon talks about turning the page, or not even turning the page, it's a new book kind of concept, and they're renting out the Warner Brothers studio, and this Elon has said that it's Robotaxi or nothing, it's FSD or nothing for the valuation of the company. I just feel like this is going to be a really polished presentation event, at least what I'm hoping for, and kind of a moment for Elon to be able to give the middle finger to everybody who has been clowning on him for the last half decade, longer, with regards to this. So, I think, I don't know what's going to happen or how it's going to look or what's going to happen, but I just have a feeling that them renting this space out, just the space alone will give it some polish. right? Like if you remember the Cybertruck delivery, like we could barely see Elon. Like the light wasn't even there. And so I just think that everything's going to be set up properly. It's a movie studio. Like all those little things that Tesla wouldn't care about are just going to be there by default. And that alone is going to help make this more polished. So I have some other wild ideas, but I'll stop there.
Yeah, let me jump in there because I have some good thoughts, I think, on this topic. So the reason I said game, set, and match is that if Tesla was going to do a 10-10 event and it was just going to be a regular event, product reveal event, they would have just chosen a stage just like they normally do. But they chose the Burbank Warner Brothers studio because it's going to be a demo. I did this show with Jeff Lutz, and what he and I talked about and what he shared was that, when Apple and Steve Jobs come out, and he is considered to be the best presentation ever. And I'm going to show that right now, where Steve Jobs came out and talked about the iPhone. It was considered the most, the best product reveal ever. But the way he did it, the way he presented it, the way he demoed the iPhone for the first time. But the difference between Tesla and Apple is that Tesla, instead of having a charismatic presenter like Steve was, Elon has some of that. Of course, many of us think that he's very charismatic, but many more don't. But what Tesla does is they have the technology speak for itself. So here's Elon going to go up there and he's going to say, we have Robotaxi. Then he's going to demo it for you. And this is what it looks like at the Warner Brothers studio. And unfortunately, I don't have a great video here. I have a small little screen here, but you can see that it's a mini city. So it's not going to be just a demo at a stage. You're going to have people, it's going to be filled with people probably. It's going to have scenes. You're going to be able to pick up a Robotaxi, drive you around. I mean, I hope that that's what this is, right? You're going to actually have a place like this and you're going to show that. So this is, let me play a little bit about Steve Jobs.
Well, today we're introducing 3 revolutionary products of this class. The first one is a widescreen iPod with touch controls. The second is a revolutionary mobile phone. And the third is a breakthrough internet communications device. So, 3 things: a widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communications device. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
So
here it is.
That demo is considered to be the best presentation ever for any company, for any product, because it redefined Apple as not just a computer company and an iPod company. They are now a phone company, and he did it. He showed the product, right? He actually did that famous demo where he showed the product and he called up Johnny Ives, and then they called up, to order pizza. It was very, very magical, and people, you saw that the crowd clapped the most when he said we are revealing an iPhone, because they were already teasing that they were going to this space, but they didn't just reveal any phone. It was like this, right? It was a combination of multiple features that no one has ever had. So this particular presentation by Tesla, it has to be so big because it's not just a product that they're revealing. This is a new company that they're revealing. A brand new company, a reinvention of Tesla itself. We're not an auto company anymore. We're not a product company anymore. We are a subscription company. We're a services company. We're a robo-taxi company. This is about AI. This is about autonomy. So if they can, that's why this is so critical. But them choosing Burbank, Warner Brothers, means that it's not just a stage at Giga Texas, right? Just like the standard group, it's going to be a bigger space, and they're going to be able to do a demo of it actually working, or what it could look like in the space. So yeah, thoughts on what you just saw there?
So that event was absolutely fantastic. Let's not get too excited about the idea that it was a real demo, because it wasn't a phone. It was a series of phones on the podium, each one capable of doing a thing. Does it matter in the end? No. He knew it would be done in time, and it was done in time for market. But what a fantastic moment in history to watch, because he was right. We reinvented the phone. And great, you just called and ordered pizza. Guess what? Your device will make calling to order pizza a thing of the past. My phone isn't a phone. It's an everything device, of which phone is the least interesting thing it does. And yeah, that was a real moment in history. And unlike that event where a lot of people had a very strong idea of what was coming based on some of the patents that they had purchased, I am still very curious to see what we get on 1010.
You guys remember what happened the day of that event and the day after that event?
No. Was it 9/11? Oh,
Nothing happened. Only a few fans were screaming like us, going, "My God, this is the greatest thing ever." What did you get? You got Steve Ballmer going, "Yeah, this is going to be a flop. This thing's going to be, nobody's going to buy this phone. It's oh, nobody wants to type on a screen. I need my BlackBerry. I need the physical keyboard." They were just throwing a thing. This is not going to move. Of course, people like me and Nick, like standing there watching this thing, wide-eyed, screaming, or going, "My God, this is going to change the world. This is what's going to happen on 1010, 1011." People are going, whatever.
I didn't watch the Apple event at the time, and I definitely was not on board. My first smartphone was a G1 from T-Mobile with a tactile keyboard that slides out. It was truly, truly awful. It was the worst of both worlds. So yeah, it took me a long time to figure it out. And if you'd have asked me to invest on that day, I would have said, I don't see it, I don't get it, and I would not have invested. So that's unfortunate for me.
So I remember that event like it was yesterday. Yeah. Because it was Apple was the first company I ever invested in, and it was because of rumors. Like that, we did not know it was an iPhone specifically that was going to come out. We had inclinations that Apple was going to come out with some kind of touchscreen iPod kind of thing. Like nobody was specifically really talking about phone, but there were like some things that showed, like we didn't know what we were walking into. We had an idea that what could be rumors, right? Mac rumors. And then when you had that moment, it was literally introducing a product that a lot of people didn't even know was going to hit the wires, that the concept of it, a whole touchscreen, like there was no real touchscreen out there by any means. And so that was a really big deal. Going into 1010, we kind of know what to expect. We know it's going to be a robotaxi. We just don't know what it looks like or how we're going to use it, how we're going to get into it, all that stuff. So I think they're a little different. But I think where they have similarities is that I think this is a paradigm shift in much ways, where there were smartphones before the iPhone, or at least what we called smartphones. Well, there's robotaxis out there today, right? Yeah. But it's not about who's first. It's about who does it right. And that's what Apple always hung their hat on. And I think that's what Tesla will show us when it comes to robotaxis. So I'm with you, Herbert. I think that this will be a very, not for Tesla, not for the stock, but for this moment in time to be put into the history books. Tesla needs to do it right. Right? This is a a paradigm shift. If it's what we think it's going to be, it's a paradigm shift moment that should be done right with the respect of what this means, what this transition means. You know, my kids will never have a license. I truly believe that. They will never get a driver's license. I will be shocked if they do. I know teenagers now who are 18, 19 years old, still don't have their license. They don't really care about it. They just Uber everywhere. And I don't know about you guys, but the day I could get my license, I was there before the DMV opened. So this is a change in life, right? Things are changing here. And so it's a commencement. And so I just hope they do it right. And I think they will. I just hope Elon cannot be Elon for 2 seconds and maybe let Franz take the reins on this and
I
do it right.
I think honestly, I people think that Elon stutters, and I think he's one of the most effective.
I don't care about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't want him to do it on the cheap.
No, he's not. So that's why I think that delaying it to 1010 and him saying that this will allow us to do a couple more things, that this allows for that shock and surprise. So first of all, I'm pretty confident, right? I think all three of us, that the Robotaxi only, the Robotaxi first car that they revealed will be very exciting. Like we will go, my God, this is brilliant. This is gorgeous. Just like we did with this truck. Some of us, some other people took time to absorb what they saw. But step one. Step two could be, and what I'm hoping that surprises is Grok. I'm hoping that Grok is at the point, and we'll talk about that as our third major reasons why it might be game, set, and match. Grok has caught up and is actually going to surprise. But if they can actually have the ability for you to talk to your car, tell it what to do, talk back to you, that's the shock, because it's a new input device, right? It's like, remember, this new ability to control the car that you can't yet do today. So if that happens, great. If not, then that's fine as well. I'm okay with that. But this is important for Tesla, and this is they might have a few surprises to come out, and that's what I'm hoping will happen.
So while we've got a quick lull here, I wanted to remind everybody watching on all three of the channels that this goes out on. It is free to post a thumbs up. You can hit that right now. That is how people discover these videos. You can subscribe to all three of us. That also costs nothing. And when the show concludes, I will be hosting a Q&A where I go through the comments and additional thoughts on this because I enjoy answering questions. So go ahead and ask away.
Exactly. So when this show ends, you'll have Brian. It'll just automatically redirect to his channel, and he'll do Q&A. So the next big thing that I think is going to be a game, set, and match, you guys tell me, is this actual Smart Summon. So actual Smart Summon has been released, and there are a small group of people. I'm told that there's about 1,000 people that are having it, including employees. But a small group of people are actually testing it right now on both Hardware 3 and Hardware 4. And Elon just yesterday said Tesla's actual Smart Summon is going to go wide release next week. So I'm going to play a couple videos, but these videos are mind-blowing for me. You tell me if you are impressed or not. Both Brian and I just watched a few of these, and they were very, very good. So this is from AI Driver. He went to a Costco, and he wanted to show you how the car works. He's not in the car. He's, further away, somewhere in the parking lot, and he's summoning the car to come to him. When he presses the button in his phone, he can actually see the cameras, so he knows what the car can see. This is coming out of the parking lot. There was a car coming, and it was able to, hey, that's okay, it's my turn. Comes there. It's pretty busy. There's a car coming. Okay, whose turn is it? Well, I was here first. Oh, that guy thought that he was going to go, but nope, it's my turn. So confidently, the car did that very safely though, right? He paused. Look at this part here. You got the shopping carts on the left that's sticking out. You got a truck. So the car stops and he goes, oh, there's a car incoming. Let him come in first. There's a second car coming, but hey, it's my turn. So I go around the truck. It's just like exactly how I would drive. It's brilliant. There's a person walking here. Got to be careful. It's driving a lot faster than you would expect the car to drive. And so this is actually very good speed and very confident that this car is doing this. Now, imagine what's happening when people are looking at this car driving itself. They can see that there's nobody in the driver's seat. It backed out knowing that this car was waiting for the parking spot, just like you would. Like, oh, okay, he's waiting for me. There's people here, but they're just standing there, so I'm going to go around them. And there's a person standing there in the corner, but he's not moving. He's going to let that guy... Oh, that's him. That's AI driver. So it came right to him. You see where he was standing? It went right to him, and he knew to stop there. So I don't know, guys. I don't know how that product could be any better than what we're seeing right now. Every single test so far by the small group of people that's testing it has been very, very good so far. Is this not game, set, and match at this point?
No.
Mr. FSD is ready. Come on, dude. What do you mean? No?
Go on.
Okay, well, one, they still have to hold the button the whole time. So
that's going to go later. That's going to go
I know,
later.
but game, set, match means it's checkmate, and that's not
Okay.
checkmate. So you still have to hold the button down. I wish they would have given some commentary. Like, did they ever let go of the button? Did any of the stops we see was because they kind of got paranoid and they stopped? Did they hold it down the whole time? It's hard to understand the full context of the video when we don't know that. We can assume, but so I think I'll have more confidence when I have it myself and I can play with it myself to understand what's going on. I really do hope that the not having to hold the button down comes sooner than later, because that's really the whole point of it. I get why they want to do it slowly. I appreciate the safetiness of it. And then the other thing I was going to say is I do think it needs to be just a tad bit faster. Again, I'm nitpicking, but I'm just nitpicking because in the spirit of game, set, match. But it's a fraction of a bit faster. I think it needs to be. That's it. Other than that, I mean, I think it's pretty great. I hope. What I want to know is at what point will they merge that in with the City Street FSD stack? Because the summon stack is isolated. It's its own stack at the moment. So they haven't merged all of them yet.
How do we
And
know
that's
that?
not me saying it. Elon said it, or Shock said it. One of them said it.
That's the perfect answer. What I saw was closing the gaps. There's a whole bunch of gaps. There's a whole bunch of things missing that prevent FSD from being unsupervised. It can't recognize flashing lights. It can't read no right on red, and it can't go in reverse. Well, actually, this part can go in reverse. Well, it can't, it can't summon. It can. I'm told. I have it on good authority. I did get an update last night. It was 12.5.2. The big disappointment, the heartbreak that is the I was so excited, you guys, I'm going to go out and make a video. I went out and made a video. There was no summon in it. But it was exciting still because it took speed bumps at 28 miles an hour. That's exciting. But we'll get there. So what's left to be closed? What's left to be done? Because I can't remember the last safety critical disengagement I had, apart from ones involving a no right on red.
Yeah, that was my point as well. Is I was talking to Omar about this. Omar from Homar's blog, who tests FSD quite a bit, and what we were saying was that, look, all these videos are showing you that the car can drive, and we need to reduce the disengagements. That's still a long ways to go before you get to the point where it's 10, 20 times safer than a human, but it's heading that direction. The other argument that people have, though, is that, you can't do robotaxi until it knows, just like Uber drivers know, exactly where to drop you off. Well, with this technology you just saw there, it can get to the person wherever you're standing. It'll get to you within 5-10 feet, number one. And two, there's a feature where you can press in the parking lot a spot, target, and go there. So for Uber ride-hailing service, you can imagine that I keep giving the same example to Brian, but okay, take me home to my house. But instead of you driving into the driveway, if I press the location, which is I want you to drive into my driveway, drop me off right in front of my garage, I have a windy driveway, then it'll do that. But if I say, no, park on the street, drop me off right here, I can do that. So this concern that people have that robotaxi, you need to partner with Uber because they know that little bit. Because right now, FSD doesn't do that, right? FSD it kind of randomly drops you off where it sort of thinks your house is located, doesn't know exactly where you want to be dropped off. that has that feature now. You were saying it can now reverse. It can reverse quite nicely. In fact, in one of the other demos, the car, in order to get to you in the parking spot, had to do a 3-point turn. And it knew how to do that on its own. So it can certainly do the reverse. Anyway, here we have a car that is like truly is driverless. Unlike Cruise and Waymo, where you have teleoperators, you have you as a teleoperator right now, but you can see that if it continues to progress this level, you may not need that teleoperator because it's learning quite well. So it's I like a comment that Omar just recently said, when he said that if you look at all the parking lots in the United States right now and you add up their square feet, it's a lot bigger than Waymo's current confined space that they are offering their service in right now.
That's great.
That's
right? Very silly, but I love it.
Yeah.
I got a couple things. One, just Nick's opinion. Anybody who talks about Tesla needs to partner with Uber is someone that honestly I tune them out. To me, I hear that, and that's signal for you don't understand what you're talking about. You should probably keep your mouth shut. That's how I look at it.
Wow, that's a little harsh, dude.
No, why? It's honest. Even when you see like Brad Gerser and them talking about it, they're talking their book. They're not being genuine. An Uber, a network, like it just makes zero sense to me. With that logic, then Airbnb need to partner with hotels. Like what? No, of course not.
Can I interrupt a little bit? I think that they don't need to partner with them, but they still might, just because I think the argument is, well, you're a service. Tesla will launch their own app, their own service, but why wouldn't you go ahead and let other partners hail a Tesla network using their app too? So why not let them, Uber partner, go ahead. Why not?
For what point?
Right.
Then it's going to be more expensive. Then now it's more expensive. Like it makes zero sense. It's nonsensical.
Why don't Uber and Lyft already partnered with each other?
Yeah.
The app is already available. The app is already free. I think the app that already exists will just get a new tab for ride hailing.
Agreed.
And we may be able to use that on 1010. We may be able to just, by the way, go ahead and activate your ticket has a code on it, that your coupon code that activates it. You can summon a ride here in the demo area. And to the people saying, well, but any demo in a closed space is not a demo. That's what a demo is. That's literally what a demo is.
Brian, that's pretty cool. That would be interesting if you're saying that audience members, they get access to in the app, and then they put in a code or whatever. They can use their phone, their app, and that would be brilliant, Brian. That would be brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm available for consultations. Yeah. And I just think it would work.
So the other thing too is, this is where people say, oh, but look at Waymo and Uber. Waymo doesn't have the vehicles to scale. So it would make no sense for them to have an app because, well, how many vehicles are they going to have? Meanwhile, Uber gets to say, yeah, look at us. We're doing things with autonomous vehicles. So anyways, put that aside. Here's my question to you guys. What's the point of having it? There's two ways you can summon, right? Either to a location or to like wherever you currently are.
Yeah. Target.
What's the point of having that? I don't understand. Why not just have it come to this location? I'm either there or I'm not, or I put the pin somewhere else. Like it means it to me. I don't understand that.
Well, I mean, what? So you're saying
I'm not sure it matters.
So summon is your phone. You press the button and your phone, it'll come to your phone, right? It'll come to your location of that phone. That's summon. But you can choose a location. I think that's what I was explaining earlier, which is like, I want to summon my car. I'm not quite like I'm about to be, let's say I'm in a Target and I'm about to pay. I'm paying my bills. I'm in the cashier. I'm going to go ahead and summon it, but I'm going to want it to go here and wait for me in front.
I know, but what I'm saying is you should just have one functionality. It should just be come to this place I tell you to go to. Maybe I'm there, maybe I'm not, but there's two different ways you can summon it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the other reason too is the opposite when you're going to banish. I think you're banish, which is drop me off here, but then go and find your own parking spot, or you can say go park here, and then you can actually press the button and say this is where I want you to park.
That could make
I
sense.
agree. I agree with that because with Banish, I don't care which parking spot it is. Just go find one.
Oh, I care. I want you
Yeah.
to find a parking
don't
spot that's
Way
away,
out.
ideally no cars, next to
Yeah.
the tree, so there's only one place someone can park next to me. Yeah, very
So,
specific on that one.
Just to
Brian.
be clear, Banish is not available yet. It's just, but I'm just telling you that I think this is a major feature, and
agree.
this is incredible, and it's looking good so far. And I think it's going to make waves, and it could also increase autopilot sales. People subscribing to autopilot or to FSD because of this feature. It's I think one of the most useful features that is available that people will go, wow, it can do that. I will now do it if it has both Banish and it has Summon.
I think Banish will be more appealing than Summon.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Banish, I can just
Yeah,
front of the store. All right, go park.
go park.
It just like
Can you imagine?
I waste my time having to find a parking spot.
Yes.
I don't
Goes around and
necessarily
around
waste
and
my
around.
time going from the grocery store out to the car. I already know where it's at.
Right.
I'm not wasting my time. Like that's
Yeah.
not that big of a deal. But
Unless it's raining. Yeah, I get you.
rain, yeah.
But boy, there's going to be a lot of videos, TikTok, and people can actually see nobody's driving. This is one of the first times that people realize that Tesla actually have a self-driving car. It's what's happening with Waymo and Cruise. People go there and they go, "Oh my God, this car's driving by itself," and they're shocked. And that's what's going to happen now for Tesla all around the United States, not just in a couple cities.
Exactly. And that's the point. When we were on the space last night, Herbert, I think I don't think a lot of people were really, I don't want to say they weren't agreeing with it, but I don't think they were like thinking about it from that point of view. It's been normalized in Chandler. It's been normalized in San Fran, probably LA now, but across all these different cities, across the entire country, happening all at once, where they're gonna be like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah.
People who have never, there are still people that don't know what a Tesla is. They don't know what the brand is. Like there's still people that are saying, go up to, like, who makes this truck? Like that's
don't know.
still a real thing. So this is just like, what is happening? There's no one in that car. Like I'm with you. I think that's gonna be all over TikTok and everything.
This
Within
is,
the last, real quick,
AI.
within the last year, I've had people ask me if Tesla is a Korean company or a Chinese company, and I'm thinking,
Well, Chinese.
wow. Well, depends which model you bought and where you got it, but crazy.
This is just another Costco video. They chose both of these guys. This is Tech Geek. He chose Costco as well. It's very busy, full of people, lots of cars. This car waited to get out until it saw another car drive by. So it was patiently waiting by itself. There's people walking around, right? Yeah. So every one of these is smooth. It's fast. I disagree with you, Nick. I'm happy with the speed. It doesn't have to be faster than this. This is the way people should drive in a parking lot. And I know you just said a smidgen better, but they may make it faster as the time goes on.
But like
So
this is a
waited
good
for
point right here. Like it should have just gone. It didn't have to wait.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe it was
Yeah,
waiting to see what that guy was going to turn left or not.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking at an ideal
wait.
amount of caution.
Yeah, I want
and
to show you this. So
I don't
want
want
to show you this
yeah.
part. So this car stops because these people are supposed to cross, and they're being cautious, so they're not moving. So the car stops. Now they're going, okay, are you guys going to move or not? Because I'm going to go move forward. So it's creeping forward, and then this guy starts moving forward. So then it stops. So then they waited productive. It's like almost like exactly what I would do if I was stopped there, and I'm going, okay, your turn, guys, and then they're not moving. Oh, okay, then I'll go. Now watch this. This guy is waiting on the left, right in front of the store. The car parked on the right, and then he had to walk across just like you would to your car. It's almost like when you're picking up somebody, it knows, hey, I have to stay on the right side of on the road for you to come in.
But I would like it to be just a hair more overly cautious rather than a hair underly cautious.
Oh, I agree. And to clarify about the speed, when it's going straight, I think it's fine. It's just some of those like the turns a little, it's not as natural. It's like, okay, you would turn at a little bit higher speed, you move a little quicker. I mean, again, I'm talking about half a mile, maybe a mile faster, but like that's it. But it makes a world of a difference when you're going that slow. Like it does make a difference on the smoothness of it. But for the first release, I mean,
Right. It's the first.
you said
release,
game set
right?
match, so I'm using the standard of
Agreed.
checkmate.
Okay. I'm just obviously being a little cheeky with game set match. It's more symbolically.
You got great cheeks.
Symbolically, you have Smart Summon coming out and showing you that it can drive driverlessly in a parking lot with cars and pedestrians, and it knows what it's doing. It seems to be pretty intelligent. So that means that there's a really good chance that full self-driving will be resolved. And then you've got the presentation that they're going to do at this mini city to demo that to you. So it's not yet game, set, and match, but they're getting closer and closer to the day when it really is done.
Can we talk about that for a second here? So you two are more rational than I am. What do you guys realistically, what do you guys think would make the event, forget about the stock price, forget about any of that. What would allow you to walk away from that event to say they hit it out of the park? That's as good as we could have expected. That's up there with Steve Jobs' moment. Like, what would it take? And please speak in detail. Like, don't color over things. Like from beginning to end. Like, what would you expect?
Do you want to go first, Herbert, or would you like me to?
Oh God, I had some guy send me a note telling me what every single step.
I
But
want
he was
your
involved in.
idea.
I know. I'm gonna tell you my thing. But he was great. He went in every single step. But the problem was he was involving the Optimus bot in it, and I said no, they're not. They shouldn't. This is about transforming Tesla into a robo-taxi. This is called the robo-taxi event. So first step would be Elon steps up there on a stage, and then they reveal the robo-taxi car itself. Now, whether or not they will hail it and then it drives in and then they will show it to you, that's probably what's going to happen, right? The robo-taxi event, the car itself needs to be something that is, as they've been promising, right? It's going to be something you've never seen before. And for me, it needs to be like a bit of this aha moment for people to realize this isn't designed to be just a car that you've taken and it's driving by itself, but it's designed for a robo-taxi experience. And that's where I've been saying for many shows, for many years, people debate me on this so much that the seats need to be able to be configured that it can be whatever. And then we just saw that Tesla replied to an Australian submission, and they were saying that can we not, make regulations that allow the seat to be swiveled so that it's not facing front. And then they also asked, do you need to have seatbelts if it's safe enough that the person can recline and sleep in the car? So it needs to be this lounge area, this area that's surprising. So the robotaxi car itself, the vehicle itself, has to be amazing. Then I think what we're expecting here is that there's going to be a demo. And what Brian said was mind-blowing for me, which is if the audience members can actually order a car and then they have, now that would be hard. Now the thing that would blow me away is that if it's not just 1, 2, or 3 cars, but like Brian said, if it's like audience members can like get driven to, take me to the movie theater, take me to, Studio B, and then there's like 20 of them, that would be friggin' cool. And then if there was a scene, like, you had actors and everything and recreating a city, then that would really show people that this is as close as possible to reality. And that, the reason I'm doing it in the Warner Brothers studios, because I don't have to get regulations quite yet. It's going to be a lot safer, controlled environment, all that. And then the thing that would wow me would be Grok. If there was this features where I can talk to the car and tell the car where to take me to the movie theater, and it just does it. If it can do those kind of things, and other demos of what Grok interface could be. And the whole point of a Grok in Tesla's cars, as opposed to any time you've ever seen other LLMs, is the speed by which the car can react. If they can show that would be the mind-blowing part. I am not one who believes that they will show the other vehicles, but I've been told that Elon said that there's actually other vehicles that they might reveal at that time. I just somehow not expecting that there
He
was going
said
to be that. Yeah, and that's where I'm
Q1
like,
earnings call.
right, and I still push back a bit, even though he said it. That you guys have told me he said it. It's like, why would you show other vehicles, especially the more affordable? Except that this would be shocker to me is that if there's other robotaxi vehicles, that's where it's not just one version, but they showed you multiple versions. You and I have talked about this many times. I've had a show with Brian on this, where if it's unboxed model, then you can have. By the way, it's more likely that it's going to look like Zooks, where you can't tell the difference between the front and the back because you basically make the same part and then just connect them together. And then you can expand it with add another middle part, expand it, have another middle part. So you can have a 4-seater, you can have a 6-seater, you can have a bus. That would be like a platform for robotaxi, not just one vehicle. And that would be a shocker. So I don't know if that's more specific than that.
Do you think that's why they're calling it 88 1010? Because like
that's interesting. I just think that that's coincidental, but that's interesting.
That is interesting. I would say that 1010 is not only Roman numerals X twice, which is Elon's clearly favorite letter, but it is also the rating of the event, perfect 10 out of 10.
Yeah, but that was like, it was supposed to be 88 and then it got delayed. So
I know.
Come on.
Hey, if we're making jokes, you got to accept a few crazy premises.
you got to
here.
read into stuff. It's not like he's never done that before.
You
so
guys are reading too much into things, too. Though.
Of course, you told
You
me to
don't
make a
know.
joke, man. I made a joke. So here we go.
You don't know if we're reading too much into it until after it happens.
That is very
Sure.
true. That is, we've seen some
you were
crazy
like,
things.
were you betting on, what was it, 9, 10, 9, or was it 9
Oh, you remember that? Yeah, that was crazy. It was 12-9. 12-9.
12, 9. Yeah. All these, did you not see that he tweeted this? And if you take this number and that number, it's 12, 9.
That's part of the fun of being in this Tesla community.
Okay. So what I'd like to see, what would be a mic drop moment for me? What would be something where I would say that was truly breathtaking is they bring us in, they bring us to the town square where we see a big presentation, the lights go down, we watch something inspiring on the screen. And what we don't notice is that while this has been happening, now the streets are full of cars. They are taxis just roving around doing things. And then you can activate your app and go for some rides. Now there's a logistical problem. If these only hold 2 or 3 or 4 people, there's way too many people at this event. There's probably going to be 1,000 or thousands. So that's too many rides. But if you've got enough cars, and especially if you've got also some shuttles, like we were discussing, because a shuttle is what you need for the Boring Company to actually scale to get out to the airport and to the stadium. The stadium is not going to survive getting 3 people a ride out. That's not enough. But if they've got shuttles, they can do it. It's a use case they need. I don't know if the shuttles would have enough training data to work by then. They might just be on display, but not in use. And the line for this would be very long. And the studio is very expensive. So it's not like you get it for all night. They'd probably get it from, 5 p.m., set up as quick as you can, shows at 7, and then out by, hard out by midnight because somebody's coming in at 2 a.m. to film a zombie thing. Who knows? But it's very expensive. So I don't think it'll be like just stay until we're out of time like they're able to do when it's their own facility. So yeah, I think a dramatic presentation, which is par for the course at a studio like that, and a functioning product. I think that would be, and
we're not,
ideally a firm date, which
I
is
think
impossible.
We're talking about ideal, and we're probably pushing
that's
ourselves to expecting too high, and they don't need to do.
That's what you
any
asked
of
for,
that.
right?
Yeah, that's what Nick asked for. But yeah, we shouldn't be doing
All right,
that.
so I'll give my point of view of what I think would be that Steve Jobs kind of like they hit out of the park. It would be we get an unveiling of the robotaxi. Hopefully they can show us like some videos of how it could be used, because you're gonna need a video to be shown to be able to, like, especially if you're talking to Grok, right? How do you don't want to have everybody in a demo vehicle be like, okay, now look what it can do here, right? So just a good video showing it being used, ideally in Austin, in San Fran, like out in the real world, actually being used. But I would like to see the demo, show it. Hopefully it's beautiful. Hopefully it's more utilitarian than just a vehicle. And then from there, what I would like to see is them all of a sudden have like 4 or 5 more just roll up out of nowhere. And then from there, I think it'd be cool if all of a sudden they say, but this won't just be these dedicated robo taxis. You'll be able to do this with your Tesla. And all of a sudden, autonomously, S, X, Y, Cybertruck roll up. And maybe inside of those, like a X or an S or whatever, maybe they've been retrofitted. Maybe they've taken the steering wheels out. Maybe they've taken the pedals out. Maybe some of the seats are turned around. Different kind of concepts of how you can, rejigger your current vehicle. Because I think there will be a big market for that. And then people can go and test ride all of those. And I don't discount that there could be something with Optimus. Just to have it. I'm not saying it'll be the main show, but just to be like, we are, because this may not just be a robotaxi event. I see this as here's our new book event, and having Optimus on stage there, kind of it's a nod to, we are a real world AI company. But I think if they do that, if they can let people go out and experience this. I love your idea earlier about, we're in China now. Oh, now we're in a small Belgium city. Oh, now we're in LA, right? Like you're already in LA, but I think that's a cool concept. I think I honestly, I would love to see a bunch of reporters in there. I would love to see a bunch of reporters.
It could be because it's a bigger venue. Maybe they'll invite more people. That's what I'm hoping. Okay, so the third big thing that happened this week, there's so many, other than what we talked about so far, which is, the 1010 event, the Smart Summon is revealing Cortex, right? Which is, what happened?
One of life's great mysteries.
No, I picked the wrong video file. Sorry, guys. Where am I going?
Sorry, guys. He's new to this. I
know. I don't know why I'm so slow. All right, here we go. So, Elon announced that he showed Cortex. Cortex is the giant AI training supercluster in Tesla headquarters in Austin. And this is the 6 cooling towers. The whole south side of Tesla is going to be a data center. And he showed a demo of it. I'll play that demo. But Grok, and then the other thing they showed was Colossus, which is now announced. It took 122 days. And they claim that Colossus, which is in Memphis, is going to be this most powerful supercomputer in the world, and it's going to be doubled in size by the end of this year. It's already there. And if you look at Grok 2, it already is at the top. It's already really at the top comparing other chatbots. So this ability for, oh gosh, what am I doing? I'm just going
would you go back and show the picture of the cooling towers, because remember, this phase of Tesla's life is all about, as Elon put it, extreme scale. And those cooling towers, those chillers they look just like any other ones. But there are little dots in the picture, and those little dots are full-grown humans who are working on it. Do you see the little yellow safety vests at the bottom, the orange safety vests? Those are people. Those blades are meters across. And even more feet. So it's a big operation there.
So with Tesla already, in just a short period of time, have already up 2 massive supercomputers, data centers, one in Texas, one in Memphis, and then they have their Dojo supercompute in New York. Then they've got all this data. Game, set, and match.
Yes,
in
now
that
you
conversation,
can say game, set, match.
Okay. That conversation, I might have it. I might be able to pull it up, where Brett Winton from ARK Invest said that if you're a normal company trying to build a data center like this, just for you to try to get the contractors in place, it would take you 4 years to build something like this. Now, Elon said, when we tried this, and it was going to take 12 months to try to get other people to do it. They decided to do it themselves. It took them 122 days to get these data centers up. This speed is something that other companies aren't able to match. Anyways, they're both up already. All three are already in, like, moving along. So
New York is online?
I don't know about New York. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
But we just reported again last week that Dojo, they presented in a presentation, and they said that they're working on Dojo 2 and Dojo 3, and that they reinvented their own protocol, internet protocol, and that, so it's looking like it's moving forward as well. So
Very cool stuff.
Yeah, I think seeing these, it's the most underrated part of the Tesla story right now. Like, someone's cool, it's something we can actually use. These new FSD versions are cool and all, but seeing them put, it's not like, when people say the data center, that's the wrong terminology. It's the cluster. All right. Like, that's what's hard about this. You never have clusters that size. Like, it doesn't make sense. You'd have to, for redundancy, there's so many things you have to do. Like maybe you would have, like, a big cluster in general is 100 servers tied together. Like, this is insane. This is absolutely insane what you're seeing here. All of these are tied together, working together, integrated together. You normally don't ever see this, right?
Why don't you see it? Why is it usually so much smaller?
Because you want to be able to withstand failures, and you don't want anything to be able to take you down. And so the bigger the cluster you have, the more servers you have tied together, the more redundancy you have to build into it. And so it makes more sense to break these up so that they're not all tied together, so you don't have to build in redundancy for all of these. Because normally, in any normal company, you just have your general workloads running on these, your applications, your databases, whatever. And they all are doing their own things. They're not all trying to do one project. But these are all for the one purpose, which is training, right? Like, that's not a normal thing. That's why virtualization was created, so that the one server wouldn't be something that takes you down. So if a VM goes down, you're fine, because that VM doesn't take the whole thing down. But if you're just bare metal, and sorry if I'm getting too deep here, but if you just have bare metal and you don't have that virtualization layer on, and the OS goes down on that bare metal server, well, now anything running on that is down. So that's why virtualization was created by VMware, and then eventually cloud came and all that. But so this is not something that gets done frequently. Public cloud, hyperscalers, they don't do this, right? This is not how they operate. So this is very, very novel, the way they've stitched all this together. So it's impressive. You'll see, like, supercomputers with some universities, what's it called in Tennessee? Help me out. College there, not UT. Anyways,
UTI?
No. They have one of the biggest supercomputers out there for a university, and they do it, but that's more, again, for, like, education research reasons. We didn't have this before. This is different. And so, just let alone the networking nightmare of this, the heating and cooling nightmare of this. Like I said, the redundancy. How do you get all of these on the same backplane to speak to each other? Like, it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
I think it's crazy that I didn't know that, because mitigating failure, my whole life has been mitigating failure.
Yeah.
So you'd think it'd be in my wheelhouse.
Phil,
everything from the storage level, you always want to have redundancy. Normally, you call, like, N+1. You'll have high availability, HA, meaning if this server fails, can I quickly move over there undisrupted? You have DR, disaster recovery, so everything can be isolated out and move. If a hurricane's coming, can I fail from Florida to Texas or to California? Like, that's how normal, proper continuity for data centers is set up. This is not that. This is, everything is aimed at one singular problem.
Vanderbilt.
Thank you. Exactly what I was thinking. Vanderbilt.
Okay. So take a look at this. I paused it here because look how big this is. It just keeps going on and on and on, all the way down to the hall there, and probably even more. This
a lot
is
more.
Phil Bissell wrote this article today. Go check him out on X at PBEISEL. He wrote all about, if you want to learn how full self-driving works. It's a very good article. But Jeff Lutz pulled out the paragraphs that came out from Phil's article. And one of the points I want to point out here is that Cortex, which is the supercomputer that they're building, that they've built, that I just showed you there in Giga Texas, the power requirements for this is 80 to 100 megawatts, which is roughly the power required for 80,000 homes. So that's not everybody can build this at scale. And you can see that it's already there. So it's faster than most people. Okay. Game.
Yeah, I think that's game, set, match. And the reason
I'm
is
supposed
because...
to say game. You're supposed to say set. You're supposed to say
Oh.
match. You guys said game.
Nah, that's
All right.
very fun idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
not mature and sophisticated like my University of Tennessee Institute joke.
So the reason why I think this is such a game, set, match, look, I get it. It's no different than Tesla Energy. It's not as sexy because not everybody can use it or touch it or play with it. I get it. That came out weird, but you get my point. It's not like Summon where everybody has it, they can use FSD. But the reason this is game, set, match is because you have to be on board with this thought, to be on my wavelength. I'm of the opinion you need this. You need extreme data to solve this problem. I don't think you'll ever be... Everyone talks about how, oh yeah, once Tesla figures it out, then everybody will be able to do this, easier with less. I don't believe that at all, because I think this will just continue to grow. It's no different than Google search engine, where with Google search engine, you could have said, oh yeah, once, someone figures out how to do this, okay, then everyone else is going to copy them. No, that lead they have continues, and it will grow and grow, because the thing people don't know is what problems occur when you get to that scale. What do you learn at that point? What architecture differences do you have to change when you get that scale? It's like EVs. Nobody knows how to properly make an EV to withstand 10, 15, 20 years because they haven't had to do it yet, but Tesla has. So they have a lot of tribal knowledge on that front. And so it just compounds. I don't know. When I see that, and that's going up and running, and they're actually using it, that to me is everything. That is everything.
And as a reminder, there will be a Q&A over on my channel when this is concluded, where I answer, the burning, itching questions that you all have, whether they're about Tennessee or otherwise. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Okay, well, thank you for that. So first of all,
Nico
Nick,
gets me.
No, Nick, that was mic drop. Perfect ending. Thank you for that very much. So we do this co-stream every Wednesday. Tune in any of our channels, Future Aza, Investing in the Grain, or Brighter with Herbert. When I close this, you stay on a screen here, and you'll get moved over to Brian's live stream. Go ahead and turn on your live stream. Thanks, everybody.
Done.
Bye-bye.